Hello everyone, David Schuyler from Suburban Community Channels joining you, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how you can make a presentable video for YouTube using only your smartphone. Now myself personally, I have an iPhone XR, but this tutorial will help you if you have Samsung, Google, Android, or any other form of smartphone like that. So let's get right into it. Now the nice thing about working with your smartphone to shoot video is if you're working with a limited budget, you can start with just a pile of books or something you have laying around and set your phone on there to get a good shot of yourself. But there's a few things that I'd recommend that'll help take your game to the next level a little bit. And that would be a smartphone adapter to go with a tripod and a light kit. And all those things can be found on Amazon, and there's tons of different kits that you can find with different forms of budgets, so I recommend going there to check out different things that might work for you. Now once you're ready to shoot your video, the first tip that I have for you is to find a background that works for you. Don't just set up in a place, put your camera there, and assume that it's ready to go. Take your phone around with you and set it on selfie mode and get a shot of yourself in different backgrounds. You want something that's not super busy, is pretty subtle, but it'll work and get the point across so that people are not focusing on the background, but instead focus on you, the subject of the video. So take your tripod, take your camera, put it on selfie mode, and walk around and try different things and figure out what's going to work best for you for your video. After you figure out where you're going to shoot your video, my next tip is to set up the video gear and accessories we talked about earlier. Now this would be your light kit, the tripod with the smartphone mount, and a microphone if you have one. Now the nice thing about most smartphones is you'll be able to use the internal microphone and it'll sound just fine. But if you want to make things a little more clear, you can get a microphone on Amazon that'll plug into a dongle and go right into your phone. So now that you know where you're going to shoot the video and you have your accessories set up, my next tip for you is to lock down your shot. Now by now you've tested your shot with the selfie mode, and if you want to use selfie mode for your video, you can, but personally I recommend you use the rear-facing camera. The case with most smartphones is the rear-facing camera is just much better quality and designed to look a lot better than the selfie mode. Plus with selfie mode, most people tend to look right at themselves as opposed to the camera at the front of the phone. So if you do use selfie mode, be sure to look in the little camera in the front as opposed to looking right at yourself in the center of the shot. When using the rear-facing camera, you might think to yourself, I can't see myself, but that's okay. Set up the camera with your tripod at about an arm's length away, and then you can record yourself and test different shots before you finally decide on the shot that you're going to use. The next tip that I have for you is to set the camera settings on your smartphone. Now most smartphones will come automatically set at 1080p at 30 frames per second, which will work for you, but I recommend going to 4K at 30 frames per second if you have the capabilities, which most phones these days should be able to. Even if you don't have a device that can play back in full 4K, it's better to downsize the video later and it'll still look great than to have it set at 1080p in the first place. Now the last tip I have for you is to deliver the content. Make sure you research what it is you want to talk about before you start shooting the video. Don't just set everything up in a spot and start talking and assume that it'll work out. Put in the work, do the research, and get good content that'll help the quality of your videos all the more. So there you have it, a few tips on how you can make great YouTube videos using just your smartphone. Be sure to check out Suburban Community Channels on Facebook, Twitter, and all other forms of social media, and I hope everyone has a great day.